Good morning students. Welcome back to the next session of your microcontroller. So in the previous class we have seen what is meant by a computer, what are the internal parts of the computer and how exactly it processes. What is meant by our address lines, what is meant by our data lines, how exactly the address and data bus acts, whether it is a unidirectional or bidirectional. So in this we are going to see the in continuation with the introduction of the microprocessor based system. It is a general block diagram, and this block diagram as earlier we have explained in the previous session. So it is the just a single line diagram of your microprocessor. So in a microprocessor you can see CPU, ALU, registers. So it is your microprocessor. The difference between your microprocessor and microcontroller is microprocessor doesn't have any memory on board. So if you need a memory, you need to connect it externally. So it has got address bus, data bus and control bus. Address bus is used to carry your address, data bus is used to carry your data, and control bus is used to carry your control signal. So microprocessor, it is just like a processor, and it is a cost since we need to connect an external component. So additionally we need to connect memory and other circuit components. So the additional memory to be connected makes this system to be costlier. Because of the absence of the memory in the processor, it is difficult to perform Boolean operations. So microprocessor doesn't have on-chip memory. If I want the memory, it has to be connected externally. Due to the external memory and other circuit component, this complete system is going to be a costlier one. Since the microprocessor doesn't have on-chip memory, it is difficult to perform a Boolean operation. So the number of instruction, for example, in this microprocessor, we are going to connect the memory at the outside the chip. Therefore, we need many instruction to access that particular memory. So it needs a number of instruction required to access the external memory is more in case of your microprocessor, and the compatibility of the microprocessor is very high. Hence, it can perform complex tasks also. Microprocessor, it is a math coprocessor, so where we can perform complex mathematical calculations which involves floating point and can be performed with greater ease. So it is a few points that we have summarized about the microprocessor. So it is also mainly used in designing general purpose system from small to large complex system like supercomputer. It is the basic component of your personal computer. Generally, the power consumption and dissipation is high because of your external device. Hence, we need a external cooling system. The clock frequency is usually high in case of your microprocessor. That is in the order of your gigahertz. The bit manipulation instructions are having only few. Generally, microprocessor are not used in real-time systems as it is dependent on several other components. These are all the general key points of your microprocessor-based system. So next is your microprocessor applications, where we are going to use this microprocessor in our day-to-day life. So we are not going to use this microprocessor in the real world application as it needs many other devices and components to be connected externally. So in your day-to-day life, we are going to use this microprocessor in mobile phones, digital watches, washing machines, computer, lighting control, traffic control, laptop, modems, power stations, television, CD player, multimeter, CRO and wave generator. These are all some of the applications that we use in your day-to-day life. So all these applications consist of this microprocessor based system. Next, in instrumentation, where we are going to use this in instrumentation for frequency counter. Normally, whether it is a microprocessor or microcontroller, inside there will be a timing circuit. So that timing circuit is mainly used to generate the time delay and counters, and it is also used to design the counting circuit. So frequency counter, function generator, frequency synthesizer, spectrum analysis and many other instruments are also available where the microprocessor are used as a controller. It is mainly used in medical instrumentation. So control. Microprocessor based controllers are available in home appliances such as micro oven, washing machine. Microprocessor based used in controlling parameters like speed, pressure, temperature. etc. So these are all some of the applications of your microprocessor. We have seen what is meant by a computer, what are the different parts of your computer, how exactly it works, what is meant by a processor, what is the internal architecture of the processor, how we are going to use this microprocessor in our day-to-day life. So now we are going to focus on to our major part of microcontroller subject, that is 8051. It is the internal general schematic architecture of your microcontroller. As discussed earlier, you could see here the microprocessor doesn't have any internal memory. Whereas if you see the internal architecture of your microcontroller, it is having an internal memory. So the internal memory, RAM and ROM. We all know what RAM and ROM stands for. RAM means random access memory, ROM means read-only memory. As discussed earlier, RAM is also known as a data memory, ROM is also known as your program memory. It has got processor, ALU, register as a single block, and it has got a timing circuit, so which is used to design a time delay circuit, or it can be used as a counter circuit also. Serial communication in the sense, suppose if I wanted to communicate to the outside world through a program, it is possible to use a serial communication. For example, UART, USART. UART is nothing but Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. USART, Universal Synchronous Asynchronous Transmitting and Receiving Part. So like this you can use a serial communication ports. Here we have input device, output device and ports. Sometimes ports will act as both input and output, as well as it is also used for some special function. And we need converters, that is to convert the data from analog to digital or from digital to analog. Why? In the sense, we cannot understand the digital output whatever we are obtaining it from the microcontroller, and the microcontroller cannot understand the analog input, because we are capable of giving the data in the form of analog, but the microcontroller can understand only the digital data. So we need a digital to analog converter, analog to digital converter, because we are going to feed the input in the form of an analog. So for the microcontroller to understand, we need analog to digital converter. Once the processing is done in this microcontroller, then it will give output in the form of a digital, which cannot be understood by us. So we need a digital to analog converter. We are going to use one digital to analog converter, so that the output of that is this is going to be analog, which will be understandable to the human. So it is the general block. What are all the parts that we have inside your microcontroller? We have CPU, read-only memory, read-write memory, serial interface, timer and IO port, as discussed in this internal architecture. So when you're coming back, like a microprocessor, we have a single line diagram of your microcontroller. So it also comprises of CPU, central processing unit, ALU, arithmetic and logic unit, registers for storing your data, it is your temporary register, counters to count the number of clock pulse, timers to create a time delay, RAM, it is a data memory to store your data, ROM, it is your program memory to store your programs, IO ports for connecting your input and output devices. To transmit and receive the data, we need address bus, data bus. To have a control towards the signals, we have a control bus. These are all the important parts of your microcontroller. So the basic structure of your microcontroller comprises of CPU, memory, IO ports, serial ports, timers, ADC, DAC, interrupt control and special functioning block. So CPU, it is a central processing unit. Memory is used to store the data. IO ports to connect your IO device. Serial ports for communication. Timers to create the time delay. ADC, analog to digital converter. DAC, digital to analog converter. Interrupt control and special functioning block. So in the next class, we'll see some key points of this microcontroller, so that we'll have some brief idea when we go in depth. Thank you, students. Good morning students. In the previous class we have seen some introduction about the microcontroller. It is the basic building blocks of your microcontroller, and these are all the from the structure of the microcontroller. It comprises of all these components. Now we'll see some key points about the microcontroller. It is a single diagram as we discussed earlier. So it has got few other components like CPU, ALE, RAM, ROM, peripherals like ports, clock, timer, UART, analog to digital converter and digital to analog converter, drivers for LCD. So all these things we have seen what is the purpose of all these components that is connected in the microcontroller. So it is just like a small computer which has got an embedded memory on a single IC. So when you see a microprocessor diagram and the microcontroller diagram, so in microprocessor diagram we won't be having an internal memory, that is the computer on chip memory is not there. Whereas in case of microcontroller we have computer on chip memory, that is RAM and ROM. So it has got inbuilt memory, inbuilt peripherals, and also it is cheaper than microprocessor. So in microprocessor it is not possible for us to perform a boolean operation as the memory is connected externally. Whereas here in microcontroller it is very easy to perform boolean operation as the memory is connected internally. The number of instructions to access the data and to manipulate the data, it is very less. Why? Because the memory is connected internally. There is no need to access the external memory in this microcontroller. So the computational capacity is less when compared to your microprocessor, usually used for simpler tasks. It can do math coprocessor like as usual. In microprocessor also it is possible to perform a floating point calculation. In case of your microcontroller also it is possible to do floating point calculation. Here the microcontroller, it is an automatically controlled device, whereas the microprocessor is not an automatically controlled device, and here the processor is embedded, the system is embedded. Here to perform the task like fetch, decode and execute, a microcontroller also controls its environment based on the output of the instruction cycle. So it has got machine cycle, instruction cycle. Machine cycle is nothing but the time taken to complete one complete instruction. So here the power consumption is less. Why? Because it is not required to access your external memory. The memory is connected internally. Memory, peripherals, everything it is connected on chip. So it is not so it is not required to access your external connected device. Because of that the power consumption is less. Clock frequency is also less in the order of your megahertz. Bit manipulation instruction is very powerful and widely used feature in a microcontroller. Microcontrollers are used to handle real-time tasks. In case of your microprocessor, it is not possible to handle your real-time application, whereas the microcontroller handles the real-time task, and it is a single programmed device and task-oriented services. So in the next class we'll be seeing what are all the processors that we are going to use in this microcontroller. Thank you students.